Okay, so here's my, hi Rhonda. So here's my my drawing. Last week, I did this little drawing with pastel pencils. Pastelmat is just kind of a sensation now. So I wanted to do some painting on it, and then I wanted to help you at the same time. So I'm going to show you what I did two different ways. I did this in pastel pencil, and then I did an ear in pastel pencil, and I did one with NuPastels, and they're very similar. Hi Carol. So we're going to do, I thought I would paint directly on my painting that I have here, and I put a color list out. Hi Amy. I put a color list out yesterday if you wanted to paint along with me. I also wanted to tell you about this. Dakota Art has this on their website, and you can download it, and it's a list of pastel pencils from the very softest, which is Caran d'Ache, to the hardest, which is Cretacolor. Today I'm going to use CarbOthellos, which fall right into the middle of the soft range. I also like Derwent's, and I like Pitts. I find Conti's are nice pencils, but the range is limited. Hi Marianne. So we're going to use CarbOthellos and paint directly on my wolf. So if I mess up, you'll get to see it. Let's hope that doesn't, I hope that doesn't happen anyway. So what I discovered when I was doing this is that you have to put your darks and your lights in, because you can't cover up light areas with dark very well, and vice versa, you can't cover up the darks with lights. It just doesn't work, so you need to put them in kind of first. Now I'm still feeling my way around this, so here's, I'm just going to share it with you, and I hope it's helpful. Whoops. I do have a problem with rolling pencils. So here's my pencils I'm going to use. I have my black Cretacolor pastel chalk lead. I have, this one's in the wrong place. I have a charcoal pencil just in case. I have two black pastel pencils, a navy one. I have this gray Pitt pastel, which is a great pencil. I don't know if I'll use it or not, but I have it. I have 3 shades of brown, a couple of grays, a kind of this yellow ochre type color works really well with the browns. And then I have some lighter grays and an ivory for my highlights. So that's what we're going to go with. It's stuck to my paper. So I'm going to start out by putting some darks. I'm just going to work across the ear. Put some of this stuff out of the way. So there's a, using the black. Now I can go back and make these areas blacker at the finish. And what I've discovered too with Pastelmat is you have to fill up the tooth in order to get it to look the way you want it to. I didn't quite get it at first, but as I went along, that's what I discovered. I was not getting the look I wanted on my Pastelmat. To me it looked, my strokes looked grainy and kind of gritty, and that's not the look I wanted. I wanted something that looks soft and furry. Now you can spend a lot more time on this than I'm going to today. So when you're doing it at home, and I hope you will try it, take your time. I also drew this wolf a little bigger than I normally would so you could see it a little better. There's the dark area in here. So I'm pushing kind of hard. Well, this is the navy pencil. I'm not sure I want to use that. I don't think it adds anything to it, so I don't think I'm going to use it. He's got some brownish hairs. I'm going to add those in, and hi Gail, thanks for joining me. So this is where some of the lighter colors are going to go. Now you could blend this with a blending stick too, I guess, if you wanted to. I didn't. Now this is the ivory. This is a terrific color. So I can go and just, since these are lighter colors, I can add the lights. Right on top of these browns. Now if I want, let's see how this works. I can blend it. A little bit in there, but I don't think I really need to. So we're going to work up the ear. So it changes to more of a gray. This is a Pitt 175. It's a nice gray color. Thank you for joining us, Jeanette. Okay, so So the back of the ear, it's got light gray color. So I'm going to use, this is a 720. Then I can take my, go back to my black. Put some black hairs into that. And then there's white hair that comes out behind the ear. So with Pastelmat, you don't have to layer. Now this is the Cretacolor. And little dark hairs. Then I can take my ivory. If I push really hard, I can make those fluffy little hairs. On the wolf's ear. It's starting to look pretty good. Now, hi Leanne from Texas. Fran, thank you for joining us too. Thanks so much, you guys, for taking time out of your day to join me. This is 610. So I want this a little browner. So I'm just going to squiggle it up to meet that gray. I think you could probably get as complex with color as you want if you want to add some purples or some darks. So I'm pretty much covering the paper. Now, this needs to be darker. I don't think that gray is going to do it. So I'm going to switch to the Pitts pastel gray. I like that a little better. We need to get darker in here. And this is dark gray. Well, hi Kay, how are you? Kay Wells is joining us. This is dark gray pastel paper. I like all the colors, particularly like the brown and the dark gray and the new navy. I'm making this really dark. I want this really dark in here. Now you guys know there are a million ways to paint on this paper, and there's a million ways to do pastels, and this is just one. So if you just have some pencils and you're on the go and you have some paper, you're set. This is gray coming down into this brown. I'll rub that a little bit. That's a nice color. That looks pretty nice. off the top of his ears. We could use a sharp 4B charcoal pencil. That works too. And then in between, we can put some little tiny light gray hairs. Why did I switch to the pit is the question from Jeanette. It's a nice dark gray pencil that I didn't have in a CarbOthello. I like the pits, I like the Derwents too. But it's a nice gray and I didn't have one. So as with a lot of these, particularly with pastels, the colors are different in each set. So having a lot of them can be a good thing sometimes. But we can make anything work. I have some other pits over here in browns as well that I don't know. I thought I might see what kind of color they had. This one's redder. This one's a darker brown. They're a little harder, so I put those over here. Okay, so we need, oops. And let's see. So come down inside of the ear. See, this gray just isn't dark enough, which is another reason I like the pit. Hi, Trina. And Leslie and Robin, thank you for joining us. So now I'm going to put a little yellow in that. Dark gray, and at the hairline, I think pastel pencils are a great option for a quick project. Okay, so we've kind of base coated this in. You can rub it with your finger if you want to or not. we're going to need to add more color to it. Let me sharpen up my black pencil. When I work, I like to have more than one pencil of the same color, and then I'll have to stop and sharpen it. Now, when I pull these hairs over, I'm not holding the pencil directly up and down. I'm holding it at an angle, like that. So we have this base coat, Hi Trina, and we're going to add the final hairs on top of it and make it just come to life. So I'm going to use the highlight colors that I have, which are some different shades of light gray. I also have white if I need it. I have a white pastel pencil. As well. So I'm going to work up the ear. I want to be very mindful of the direction that the hair grows. Hair takes a little dip right in there. If I want to make the hair a little thicker, just push a little harder instead of drawing individual strokes. Okay, I'm going to switch the color up to gray as it comes up. Well, that one is not quite light enough, so we'll save that one. And let's try this one. Hi, Bonnie Benjamin from Pueblo, Colorado, and Gail, there'll be a replay, it'll be posted on the site, so whatever you missed will be there. So this is a part where you just take your time doing your ear. And we don't want them all to be the same, okay? So as I move up into this area, the hair, we want to use a color that's not as light. I'm going to go to a darker color so that it's not too obvious. Let me put some hairs in down here. I like to change the direction of the hair, make them cross over each other because then they look more realistic. some lighter ones over that. And a few black ones right at the base. Add some more black up here as we go along too. Okay, the question from Jeanette is, do I know where I can find velour Pastelmat mounted on an acid-free foam core? No, I'll tell you what I do is I buy the velour paper myself and the Pastelmat, and then I buy something called Crescent Perfect Mount that has a backing on it. I get all these things from Dick Blick and I mount it myself. Let me blend this little edge. Okay, so here we go. Wrong color. So we just pull these little hairs up in here. It's a little browner here, so I'm going to add some brown. But you know, I hadn't been real happy with my work on Pastelmat until I got to experimenting with it and finding out that really I wasn't getting enough pastel on the paper. Let's put a few gray hairs in here. Now we're going to work up this side of the ear. This is really, really pretty. I'm going to start with the switch to a gray. Vary the direction. And darken this up at the bottom. I'm sorry, Mary, the comments roll up. So how do I sharpen my pastel pencils? Mine keep breaking off in the sharpener. I do sharpen mine in a sharpener, and I use a X-Acto School Pro, and I don't have any problems. But we do have to replace the sharpener because we use them for classes too. So we buy a couple a year. And it will sharpen. The CarbOthello is just fine. I never put the Contes in there. And if you want to hand sharpen your pastels, I highly recommend this, which is you can get it on Amazon. It's an M&R 2-hole brass sharpener. Just keep it has a large hole and a small hole, and it'll sharpen all your pencils. And Holly, the pencil holder came from Dick Blick. I need an assistant to ask the questions. I'm sorry if I don't see your question, just keep asking. Okay, so as I work up, there's some pretty little hairs right here. up in this area, hairs get shorter and they're less distinct. We don't want to take away from the dark that's here. So I correct as I go. This to me is a little prominent, so I'm gonna put some dark over it. And I'm going to use a different gray. This one is a little less bright. And because sometimes less is more, right? Add some black back in. If I want some brighter ones, I can use a white pencil, just add a couple. Now if I was going to do, let's just take this section of hair before I move on to the, let's say I want to make this really bright hair. So we know we can't cover it with darks, but I've got a little bit of a brownish color. And then on top of that, I would put some of the ivory color. And then take the white and fill in the area. And if it gets a little bright, put a little bit of gray over that, tone it down. And then there are some little black hairs. Come out like that. Now, looking back on it, I'm pretty happy with that ear. So that's my, here's my practice. This is my practice ear, and there's my ear, and I'm pretty happy with the way that ear looks. Now I want to show you what I got to thinking. And what I got to thinking was, well, what if we base coated, thank you, Mary. What if we base coated it with soft pastel and then use pencil on top of it? So that's when I did my other little ear that has disappeared somewhere. And it worked out okay, but I couldn't layer pencil on top of it, and I'm going to show you why that was. So I decided to use NuPastels. NuPastels are great. And I think I wrote them in the list as well. So here's my NuPastel selection that I'm going to be using. There's probably more colors here than I'm going to use, but I thought it would be better to pull out a bunch and not need them, right? So let's see what we can do with that other ear. Excuse me, you know, this is live, so things don't always go the way they're supposed to. So here's my other ear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 305 blue and put some black down and see if I like that. Now I'm using the edge of the NuPastel just like I would if I was drawing hairs on the wolf. I just love NuPastels. Put a little here where this little ear hole is going to be. Because of the tilt of his head, this ear faces us more than this one. So this one's kind of an angle. And we'll put a few hairs out here as well. Now I'm going to go over that with black. Let me find a holder for my black. Okay. So I'm going to go over that blue with black. I like the way that looks. Let's put a little brown at the base here. That one's not strong enough, so let's try another brown. Just spacing in the colors right now. Okay, that's pretty good. And we want a little brown in this area. As we're moving up. And then there's gray. I love this gray. This is 209. This is like, it's called warm gray. And I like this color. So I'm going to base this in. With warm gray. And it does look like a cooler gray there. Let me find one. So let's switch to 259. You can see my poor little pastels are almost gone. Then we need some black right in here. That gives the illusion of his cupped ear. By the way, this wolf is kind of a teenager. He's not full grown yet. He's a yearling. Then as we come down, let's see if this is going to work for a brown. Nope, don't like that. NuPastel doesn't have a lot of great browns. Let's see how this one looks. This is 223 burnt umber. I don't really care for that one either. Let's try another one. This one is 263. This is what I was using. It's just a new stick, so let's put a little bit of that there. Kind of bright. That might work. Anyway, okay, so let's blend that together and push it into that nap of the paper. Oh, I do want to mention this. Pastelmat is kind of made with cork. You cannot add heat to it, so you can't dry mount it. So if you're going to mount it on a board, don't use any heat. So let's blend that in really good. Now at this point, I thought that I could use pastel pencil, but that didn't work real well for me. I got a little too much here, so I'll take that off. Be careful when you're using an eraser on this paper because you can damage it. So I got to thinking, well, how can I make this work? So I thought, well, I'll do the same thing I do when I'm working on velour. I will use the edges of my NuPastel sticks. So I have made sure that the pastel is flat by sharpening it perpendicular to the sandpaper block, so that I have 4 sharp edges. So I'm going to add some hairs here. And when the edge gets dull, I just rotate it. And if there are too many, I need some more black hairs in there, I can just come back with my black and add some more. It's a little lighter on the outside edge, so I'm going to use a lighter gray. And a few black hairs. It is my opinion, and it's just mine, but the NuPastel stick edge allows you to get a sharper edge than the pastel pencil. Now, if you're turning a corner, you can use the corner of the pastel stick instead of the flat edge to draw little hairs. Now, I want to get a little bit brighter. Switch to lighter gray. This one is $2.99. Now let's see how a pastel pencil would work too. Let me sharpen it. So it works good too. So you could use both methods, either or, whatever you need to get the job done. Let's get the top of this ear fixed. Dark in there, so I'm going to add that, and then I'm going to this is $2.47. Let's add a little of this pencil in there. Tone down that brightness. That's blue, we don't want the blue. So it really works well to combine these things together to get the result that you're looking for when you're painting. There we go. Now on the inside of this ear, so the NuPastels do provide a lovely base for the pencils. Hi, Nancy Hughes. I'm glad you could join me. And then the hairs turn to a light gray on the outside. some black hairs. I think the NuPastel is a more intense black. I like it better than the pencils. I do like it in combination with the blue. That being said, I think I'll add some black. Over here. Carol, I see your post, but I can't read it right now, but I'll make sure that the materials list gets reposted, okay, so that you can see it. Things disappear on Facebook. Sometimes they appear more than once. So I'll make sure, Carol, that the list of things that I used gets reposted. I don't want to keep you guys too long today. Do you have any questions? And I want to show you something I've been working on. Do you like Facebook Lives? I like doing them because then I can answer your questions, and that is fun for me. So it's like you're here with me, and I do enjoy teaching. So he's looking pretty good right now. Okay. Well, we've been at it almost an hour, and I don't want to keep you too long. So Mary likes Facebook Live, so do I. So I have another one planned. Let me show you what I've been doing. I posted this on Facebook. This is a portrait I did of my granddaughter. And this is with 2 pastel pencils on Reeves drawing paper. And my next Facebook Live, I'm going to do a portrait of one of my grandsons, and I'm going to do it live for you and show you how I did this. And I'm planning, I've painted all my grandchildren, but I'm going to do all of them like this and have them all framed the same and let their mothers fight over who gets the pictures. So I used 2 Conte pencils, a paper towel, and a kneaded eraser to make this portrait. So that is what we're going to do next time on Facebook Live. I'd like to tell you it's going to be next week, but I'm not sure. Thank you for joining me today. Please subscribe to my channel, K-Wit Pastel Paintings. Give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye.